everybody, welcome back to AWS On Air. I'm your host, Shashank. If you've been watching so far, we've covered a bunch of few sessions. We did some interviews with product experts. We have something different right now, which is an industry overview for automotive. I have our industry expert here, but before we dive in, let's do a quick round of introductions again.
Hi, I'm Ayza Huerga, part of the developer relations team.
And
Hey everybody, I'm Dean Phillips. I'm the worldwide tech lead for automotive at AWS.
Awesome. And yeah, if you're just tuning in, welcome. If you've been around, you've been seeing us on screen. So let's dive into the industry overview. So Dean, AWS has a lot of solutions in the automotive industry. I'm new to this. I'm not part of the automotive industry. And give us an overview of what are the different services that customers use in the automotive industry, and what role we have to play.
Sure. Yeah. So a big announcement for us this week was AWS for Automotive, and in this, what we've done is we took together all of our partner solutions from a collection of different solution areas in the industry, along with AWS services and AWS solutions. And we kind of bundled this all together on our new website that went up 2 days ago, I think now. And in this, you can see in the screen, of course, here, where we make it easy for our customers to go in and find the content from our partners. We have over 200 automotive partners, if you can believe it. They all they've built a number of different products, services, and offerings that our customers are using in the industry. And specifically, we have these 7 solution areas where we have all this content. First off, of course, is in the software-defined vehicle space. Really big area for the industry right now. We're redefining how we build embedded automotive content in the vehicle. And then connected mobility, of course, we've been working with that for a number of years. And then autonomous vehicle development and a collection of others. But those are like the 3 big areas where we've been focused. And then we have a new service too.
So we have several services that are clearly useful in the automotive industry, and you said we have over 200 partners, right? So what we launched is an aggregate view of all the partners and the services that we have categorized into these different categories.
Absolutely, there's so much automotive content that we had. Our customers have been asking, how do we find everything we need, for example, around autonomous or connected mobility, digital customer engagement. And so what we did was we put it all together in a concerted effort to make it easy to find. And then on top of that, we've actually released this year our first automotive specific service, and that was announced yesterday. It's called AWS IoT FleetWise. And this, I think, is this is a big deal for us because it's the first one where we have a purpose-built managed service that takes away all the undifferentiated heavy lifting of getting data to and from the vehicle to the cloud, and of course sending messages back.
Right.
So how did companies that were in this industry, how did they do it before?
Well, typically, you would either use AWS IoT or you would have your own, like MQTT brokers, and you'd build an embedded client in the vehicle.
So they had to build it on their own and
manage it. You have to do it all on their own,
right.
Manage the topic space and deal with all of the change. But now that kind of goes away where we take care of that for them. And what's more important is you're able to take advantage of all the analytics from the fleet perspective. So you can see where you have, maybe there's an occurrence of some type of a warranty issue around, or quality issue around a particular vehicle or type, for example, on a new feature. So these things will start to surface. And then you can say, okay, well, let me go deeper. I need more information from that. So you can define data collection schemes and then send it out to a subset of the vehicles, and then you can get that information back.
Right.
And then additionally, we're able to optimize the amount of data they use by reducing sending redundant messages. And what I mean by that is, the typical example is you've got a pothole on the road, and at this particular geolocation, cars are sending a message saying there's a pothole event right here, and what we can do is the system will shut that down so that the other vehicles from this OEM won't be sending that same
Yeah,
message
there is
over
no
and
need
over.
to reiterate.
There are a lot of other examples, I think, where you can go deeper with that, but it optimizes the spend around data.
Right. So FleetWise is a dedicated solution for OEMs, I imagine, right? Automotive OEMs.
Or suppliers. We have
Or so-
first-tier suppliers who are building solutions for their customers, the OEMs.
Right. And when I think of automotive, like I think of self-driving cars, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the hot new thing. But it's really, I mean, looking at your site, there are a lot of other use cases in automotive, the more traditional ones, and of all the services that are available in AWS, there are dedicated ones that you spoke about, like FleetWise, but there are also a range of other services that benefit automotive customers.
Absolutely. The list is long, but specifically in the autonomous space, we have a autonomous data lake reference architecture.
Nice.
So what we've done, we released it over a year ago, and then this past summer we updated it, and we also released a collection of open source assets to AWS samples in support of the data lake, the architecture. And so what this does is it gives our customers a prescriptive guide as to how do they ingest the petabytes of data that come from these test vehicles and get it into their environment, catalog it, and make it easily findable and searchable by their engineers.
Right.
And so that's one of the big things. And then the next big thing around...
Just hold on. That reference architecture, I'm assuming customers can find it on that AWS for Automotive website. Everything is there.
Yes.
Including that, perfect.
And our blog posts are describing it as well.
That's also there. So it's the place to go, really.
Yeah, actually everything's on the automotive site. And so there's lots of great content there to take a look at. Yeah. But the next big thing I was starting to mention was, I think today we talked about Graviton 3. Right, so we've had Graviton 2 instances. Well, why is this important in automotive? Well, because it's an ARM-based chip, right? What happens to be very popular in automotive in the embedded environment? ARM-based compute, right? So what you can do is you can now start to take advantage of spinning up, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of test scenarios for your testing.
Like simulated.
Doing it in the cloud.
Right.
You can simulate the automotive environment in the cloud.
Exactly, and you don't have to deploy it to a specialized, what we call a hill rig or a test rig on a bench, right? And then have to exit all that data out of the cloud, right, to process it. So customers are really excited about that possibility. And FleetWise, actually, the FleetWise Edge client is you can deploy that on an NXP S32 gateway. So NXP is an automotive supplier.
Right.
They build hardware in the vehicle, high performance computing. And in the vehicle gateway component, you can deploy that FleetWise Edge client. And so, again, being an ARM-based platform, you can spin up all kinds of test scenarios in the cloud, which will drive more software quality.
So compared to doing something like load testing a database or something, testing automotive can be expensive, right? You can't test something new on a fleet of cars, but you can simulate that in the cloud with ARM-based processor, as you said.
Yes.
I think that'll save customers a ton of money. And talking about simulation, so automotive is one industry, but there are many different use cases, I imagine, right? There's machine learning, there's HPC. What are all the different investments from customers in the automotive industry? What are all the different use cases that we cater toward?
So, customers are investing in data lakes, right? So they have to get the data
because they're collecting
with the reference architecture I talked about. So if you have your data house in order, you have all your devices connected, you can land the data into the warehouse, or excuse me, the data lake, and then you can now begin to take advantage of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Because if you have your data and you have the tools and processes in place, you're able to then create balanced training sets that you can then scale out using services like SageMaker. And on that note, we have really excited today to announce Aurora announced that while they build their Aurora driver, the autonomous technology for self-driving cars, they actually use the SageMaker P-series,
Some of our
instances.
viewers who are new to Aurora, what is Aurora? What do they do?
Aurora builds self-driving technology. So they are a leader in that space.
Okay.
They've committed to.
So they build models and hardware?
They build all the software,
All the software.
and they have hardware kits, with the lidar and all the tooling
Oh.
to make a self-driving vehicle.
Nice. Okay.
And with that, they announced today that they've committed. They're all in on AWS. So
Nice.
Oh.
all of the the millions of training, the software in the loop training scenarios that they
Right,
perform in the cloud, they're doing that now on AWS.
Exciting.
So if you think about it, how do you make an unprotected left turn, right? For example, they did before they actually performed that in the Aurora in the vehicle with the Aurora driver. They had to do 2.3 million turns virtually in the cloud before they did that, and that uses petabytes of data to make that possible. So it's a really exciting statement today for them to commit to AWS for that.
It sounds like these announcements also seem to be accelerating innovation, right? It makes that experimentation faster, and therefore potentially can help customers accelerate that speed of innovation, right?
Absolutely. One of the really cool things, really important to the industry, is around software-defined vehicle.
Yeah.
And when you think about that, what we're trying to do with our customers, and we are doing, when you look at Continental, for example, huge tier 1 automotive supplier, they're building their Continental Automotive Edge platform, CADGE, on AWS.
Right.
So what they've done is built this platform for developers, or they're in the process of building this, and to bring the speed of cloud-native DevOps, if you will, to that constrained automotive embedded computing environment in the vehicles. So that's another really big thing that we're excited about that that they announced a number of months ago.
I think compared to a lot of industries, the amount of data in automotive is just phenomenal, right? Compared to many other industries. Each car that goes on a driving campaign just collects. So you're looking at the same overall workflow, which is collect data, simulate, build models, deploy, but in automotive, it's happening at a scale that's unheard of in the past. And you're able to accelerate a lot of that with...
Just for one test vehicle, depending on how much data they're capturing on the test drive for an 8-hour period of time, they can generate 10 to 100 petabytes or terabytes of data, from one day's worth of work.
Most organizations don't see that in their entire time of being.
Not all of that will end up in the cloud in this, what we call the infinity loop that you were just talking about. But using filtering and intelligent filtering of the data that we can reduce and compress.
Which is also a challenge, which requires compute, which requires either processing on the edge or in the cloud, right? So it's just a phenomenally hard problem.
Well, what's really exciting too is when we look at AWS IoT fleet-wise, one of the exciting capabilities you have there is to define rules that will, when you have a low confidence perception event, for example, where the technology doesn't perceive the scenario.
Like a pedestrian or a stoplight,
For example. And with that, I got caught up here, but with that, fleet-wise, based on those rules where you set, they will capture some of the raw data from the camera and then send that to the cloud or a LiDAR or radar, whatever the technology is. So we can then capture that raw data and snapshots of it and send that back into the loop, if you will. And all of that's handled with the undifferentiated heavy lifting we provide in this managed service, which I think is just really going to change how automotives look at it today.
So for any companies that maybe are not there yet and are excited about what they are hearing and are thinking, well, how hard is it going to be for us to get there? How easy it is to get started?
Well, just like everything else at AWS, this is why I'm so excited about FleetWise. It's self-service. So they can go to the console and they can engage and they can build a model. Now they can have a canonical model of their vehicle data, which all of these OEMs, they maintain these very complex databases or spreadsheets, I didn't say it, of all the CAN signals across all of their different vehicles. So it's, this new service I think is going to be significantly differentiating to the industry.
Awesome. So yeah, so there you have it, folks. This was an industry overview of automotive on AWS, and all the links that are on the website. Go, feel free to check it out, and stay tuned for more streams. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.